Hello and welcome to Mollie's Motif. This is Emily, and today over at Bitten by the Bug 2 we have a new challenge starting, and we want to see birthday cards that feature the number or the age on the front of the card. And I was excited about this challenge because I have a nephew that's turning 6 at the end of the month, and so I'm making this card specifically with him in mind. And I'm going to be pulling from the Birthday Bash cartridge because this cartridge has a ton of different images with the number incorporated with the little animals, and I thought that would be perfect. I did something a little bit different, and I'll get to that in a minute. But this cartridge has some great features. There's font, there's phrases, the layering is super easy to put together, and then they also have a card or tag feature, and I am going to be using one of the cards that is in on this cartridge. So over on page 49 of the handbook, there is this fun little jagged edged card, and I thought that was going to be perfect for the image that I'm using. And so I cut this just out of some plain white cardstock at 5.5, and this is how it cuts, and then you just fold it over. But just so you know, the 5.5, this size, it is just a teeny tiny 2-bit big for a standard A2 size envelope. So if you want it to fit perfect in an A2 envelope, then I would cut this at 4.25. But I'm going to make it fit into an A2. I don't have a problem, making just a teeny tiny crease at the top to make that fit. So anyway, just a side note on that. And then for my mat that's going to go right on top, I cut this card again at 5.5 out of some purple, but then I just cut it at the score marks so that, it's not a card, it's just a mat that will fit, just line up perfect on the front. I wanted something a little bit different than just the white. So that will be my mat, the front of my card, and then I wanted another mat. And I have this fun water paper, which I love. And I get this water paper, they're in packs at Walmart, the color book paper packs. That's where I find this water paper. I absolutely love it. I always have to have this one on hand because I use it quite a lot. But again, I cut this paper using the card feature, and this time I cut it at 5.25 because I wanted it to be just a little bit smaller so I could layer it on the front of my card. So all three of these pieces are cut using this card feature. The base white card was cut at 5.5, the purple was cut at 5.5, and then I just cut it in half at the score lines, and then my water paper is cut at 5.25. so that I could layer it. So hopefully that makes sense. So that is how the front of my card is going. And then the image that I wanted to use for my little nephew is this shark. So cute. It's on page 65, and as you can see, he's holding the number 5, and my nephew is turning 6. And so I kind of did a little modification with this, and it worked out just fine. So I've cut my shark at 4 inches, and I'll show you how he turned out. This is him. This is my little shark, and he's got a little party hat, and I just used some rhinestones for his eyes instead of cutting the little black eyes out. I thought that would be cute to have some rhinestones. And then if you can see right here, you can kind of see where the 5 is supposed to be layered on top of this shark. And so when I was playing around with the number 6, which is found on the next page, on page 66, which goes along with the armadillo, I cut this out at 4 inches just to see what would happen, and it was way too big. And so I just had to modify the 6, and I cut it at 2 inches. I just did the layer 1, and then the shift layer 1, and then layer 2 to get the layering on the number 6. And this is how that turned out. I think it's pretty cute. But it works perfect, and it covers up where that 5, the outline for the 5 on the base cut of the shark would be. I'm hoping that this is making sense because I did kind of just modify things a little bit. But it worked fine. When I get that glued down there, you're not even going to see where the, you know, the outline of the 5 was supposed to go. So that is what I've done with the number. And then as far as the shark is concerned, just kind of go through the layering on this real quick. So I cut my base shark, oh my goodness, the base cut out of whatever color you want the teeth to be. So I just did kind of a light gray color, and then my shift shark, my shift base, is I did out of some lighter purple for his body. And then you do layer 1 for the party hat, and then you can do a layer 2 for the party hat to make some stripes on it, but my pattern paper already had stripes, and so I didn't cut the shift layer 1. And then I didn't do layer 2 because I didn't need the 5 and I didn't need the eyes. So that's how I put my shark together. It might be way too confusing, I'm sorry, but that's just that's how I made this work. So I'll layer that 6 right on there, and then his little fins, his little hands, they do a 3D effect to hold, so it's looking like he's holding that 6, which I think is really cute. I think that's a really cute effect. And I'm debating on whether or not to put him on an action wobble, because I think it might be fun if he could move, especially for my nephew, if he could move like he's swimming in the water. So I'm really contemplating putting him on an action wobble. So this is how my image is going, and then my sentiment, I just cut out, I printed out on my computer, have a fantastic birthday, just another little pun, play on words, and I just freehanded the little banner, and that's going to go up top here. And then I kind of was thinking I wanted to do a shadow piece, but I didn't quite like how that was working out, so I think I'm going to just kind of do a layout something like this, so that there's some continuity with the jagged edge, kind of like the teeth. So I'm kind of contemplating doing that. Haven't decided 100%, but that's what I'm thinking I'm going to be doing. Okay, so get my shark back on there. And then I'm going to use some twine. And I'm going to run some twine down the side, and then I'll do my bow. I always do my bows beforehand, but anyway, it'll be something like this. Oh, that's horrible. But yeah, I'll just do a bow up top. That is a mess. I'm sorry. So anyway, this is kind of what the front of my card, this is what I'm thinking of doing. So I'll go ahead and put this together, and I will come back and show you how that turned out, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do on the inside. Okay, so I've got my card put together. I think it turned out really cute. I'm excited to give it to my little nephew. I did put my shark on an action wobble, so he is bobbing around in the sea, and everything else just went kind of according to plan. I pre-make my bows, and I just tack them down with a glue dot, so that's secure up there. And then the inside, all I did was take the scrap remnants from the cuts that were left over from the cards and the mats, and I just glued those together and just made a fun little mat on the inside. Super easy to do that. And I didn't put a sentiment. I could easily stamp something, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to write a little note to my nephew for his birthday. So super simple inside, super easy. And yeah, that's how it turned out. I'm pleased with how it came together. So I hope that you were able to join us this week over at Bitten by the Bug 2 for our birthday card challenge, and to include the age or the number on the card. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. I'd appreciate any comments or feedback. You can always check out my blog. It's mollymugsblog.blogspot.com, and we will catch you next time.